Headlines first. Designers are removing traditional clothing, not to shock, to study the human form, symbolism, and culture. I want to slow this down and look at what's actually happening, on runways, in galleries, in editorials. Across the world's most influential runways, a quiet but radical shift is taking place. Silhouettes are getting stripped back, meticulously edited down to their essential lines. Fabric, once the primary medium of expression, now recedes. It's a deliberate subtraction, a move that forces our attention away from the textile and onto the space it occupies, and the form it reveals. In this new grammar of design, the body itself becomes the primary material. It is the line with the curve of a hip or the sharp angle of a collarbone dictating the garment's flow. It is the texture, where skin provides a canvas. And most profoundly, it becomes the architecture, the foundational structure upon which these minimalist concepts are built. But to dismiss this as mere provocation, as exposure for exposure's sake, is to miss the point entirely. This is not a trend rooted in shock value. It's an intellectual exercise, a profound design question. What remains when you take clothing away? What is the absolute essence of a garment? The answer, it seems, is a conversation between the human form and the space around it. Headline: The body as archive. To understand this moment, we have to look back, because historically, we've been here before. This dialogue between the clothed and the unclothed is woven into the very fabric of art and culture. Ancient Greek and Roman sculpture celebrated the idealized body, mastering proportion and anatomy as the highest form of beauty. Later, the Renaissance rediscovered this classical language, turning the body into a powerful vehicle for expressing humanist ideals of divinity and potential. In the 20th century, the modernists stripped away ornament to find pure function, arguing that form should follow purpose. This philosophy paved the way for the avant-garde. Designers like Rei Kawakubo and Hussein Chalayan didn't just design clothes, they deconstructed them, questioning what a garment even is and what it could be. Today's shift fits squarely within that lineage of inquiry. It's a return to first principles, armed with centuries of context. The result is less fabric, but infinitely more thesis. Headline: From wardrobe to worldview. For millennia, clothing has always been code. It communicates status, modesty, rebellion, and community. It's a visual language that tells the world who we are, or who we aspire to be, before we ever speak a word. When designers strip away the familiar codes of clothing, the seams, the silhouettes, the social signifiers we've learned to read at a glance, they perform a radical act of redirection. They are not just removing fabric, they are removing our reliance on the garment as the primary storyteller. Instead, they force us to read the person. Suddenly, the body is no longer a passive hanger for clothes, but an active, expressive canvas. A bare shoulder becomes a bold statement of presence. A scar, a stance, a particular gait, these are no longer incidental details, but are elevated, becoming the very materials of the design itself. This represents a fundamental shift in purpose, its fashion moving from its traditional role of covering and concealing to a new one, curating meaning on the human toolkit we all share. The designer becomes less of a tailor and more of a curator, carefully selecting which parts of the body's inherent narrative to frame, to highlight, and to bring into dialogue with the viewer. To achieve this, the entire presentation is re-engineered. In shows, I'm seeing a deliberate turn towards environments that support this focus. Neutral palettes, creams, beiges, greys, create a quiet backdrop that doesn't compete with the warmth and texture of skin. The lighting is soft and sculptural, carving out form rather than flattening it. And abstract projections wash over the models, adding layers of texture or emotion without telling a literal story. The stage becomes a gallery, prepared for a living sculpture. The techniques are architectural, focusing on structure and negative space. The body is first outlined, then reinterpreted with bands, frames, and mere traces of fabric. These elements don't clothe the body, they annotate it. They draw the eye, create new lines, and ask us to consider the space around and within the form as much as the form itself. Think of rigid armatures that create a cage or a scaffold, suggesting a structure for the body to inhabit. Think of harnesses that can imply support, connection, or even gentle restraint. And perhaps most poetically, sheer layers that suggest the ghost of a garment without ever completing it, playing with memory and expectation. This approach inevitably provokes a complex response. Audience reactions range from a deep contemplative silence as if they're witnessing performance art to an uneasy shifting in their seats. This isn't a failure of the design. That tension is part of the point. It's the friction created when our expectations are challenged, forcing a more active, critical engagement with what we are seeing. Headline: Symbolism over seams. Because when you take away a dress, you don't remove culture, you reveal it, inscribed directly onto the body. In this context, the body's own modifications and characteristics become a new kind of textile. Tattoos read like intricate prints, telling personal or cultural stories. The texture and style of hair becomes a sculptural element. Layers of personal jewelry are not just accessories but artifacts. Even posture itself becomes a design choice, a line of strength, vulnerability, or defiance. The person becomes the poem, and the designer simply provides the punctuation. This evolving conversation about the body doesn't happen in a vacuum. Religious and regional modesty codes enter the room, not as constraints, but as rich, established design languages. We're seeing a shift away from a single, monolithic view of fashion. Instead, designers are engaging in a dialogue with these traditions, exploring how concepts of covering and revealing are interpreted across cultures. This requires a new level of responsibility. Designers are building sets, choreographies, and even entire collections that acknowledge these contexts instead of ignoring or appropriating them. The process involves deep research and collaboration with cultural advisors, ensuring that the final presentation is respectful and informed. It's about creating inclusive spaces where different perspectives on the body can coexist and enrich one another. There's also powerful new technology in the mix, pushing the boundaries of what clothing can be. Highly precise body scans generate digital garments, tailored to a unique form without a single stitch. Motion capture technology, once the domain of filmmakers, now translates a dancer's movement into the dynamic flow and drape of a virtual fabric. Augmented reality layers appear in your social media feed, creating ephemeral, impossible outfits that vanish in real life. In this digital realm, the physical body becomes the constant, the anchor for an infinite wardrobe. Everything else is a filter, a layer of data and light that we can put on and take off at will. This inevitably raises the question, is it fashion without clothes? Critics argue this is performance art, a spectacle that has more in common with theater than with the runway. They question whether a digital file or a fleeting projection can carry the same weight and cultural significance as a physical garment. But the line has always been blurry. Fashion has always borrowed from performance. From the dramatic presentations of Alexander McQueen to the conceptual choreography of Issey Miyake. The runway itself is a stage. The distinction, perhaps, is less important than the intent behind the work. Ultimately, what matters is the presence of intention and craft. The principles of good design don't disappear just because the materials have changed. Pattern making can be an exercise in sculpting negative space, where the voids are as important as the forms. Fit can be redefined as balance and breadth, the way a structure interacts with the body's movement, rather than just conforming to a static size chart. In this new paradigm, the atelier becomes a studio, a laboratory, where the body is not just a hanger, but the very mold, the living armature upon which new ideas take shape. There are real-world questions, consent and comfort, venue policies and cultural sensitivities, accessibility for bodies fashion has ignored. The most thoughtful shows cast diverse forms and collaborate with cultural advisors. Museums are drafting guidelines to exhibit these works without sensationalizing them. Headline: Sustainability unexpectedly. Using less material isn't a solution by itself, but it can critique overproduction, pair with mending, body-positive fit services, and modular pieces. 1. Galleries and institutions adopt body-first fashion as contemporary art. 2. Mainstream labels translate the idea into wearable echoes, transparent layers, cutouts, structured frames. 3. Digital fashion grows, letting people wear identities without physical waste. The bigger shift is philosophical. If clothing is language, the body is the alphabet. This trend asks us to become better readers, to see identity not just in what's worn, but in how a person occupies space. Headline: Beyond shock, toward meaning. Removing traditional clothing is a tool, not a destination. It can provoke, But at its best, it clarifies. It reminds us that fashion is a conversation across history, technology, and culture, written on the most universal canvas we have. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, read the silhouettes, and notice what stories appear when the seams fall silent.